Hey y'all, welcome to Peyton Energetics. I'm Peyton and I'm a Pleiadian channel and Starseed coach. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Orion starseeds. Now, we have quite a lot of Orion energy on the planet right now. But because of the history of the Orion system and what we all know from our galactic history, sometimes Orion starseeds get a bad rap. But today we're going to talk about why that is completely unwarranted. They're a little misunderstood in the spiritual community. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Orion starseeds, what their traits and characteristics are, what they are sometimes known to struggle with, and why they are so misunderstood. And we're going to talk a little bit about Orion starseed energy to just help you figure out if you might have some of this Orion energy yourself, because we have quite a lot of Orion energy on the planet right now. Now, before we jump into talking about Orion starseeds, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. Now, whenever we start out by talking about the starseed races, like we're going to do today, I always like to start by making two quick points. The first is to share the definition of a starseed, because if you don't know what a starseed is, this conversation is going to be a little confusing for you. So I use a definition of a starseed from my Pleiadian guides, and they describe starseeds as being a human whose soul originates from another star system. So essentially, a starseed is someone who has a lot of galactic energy, or an energy that isn't quite native to Earth. So for that reason, starseeds are a little different than your average human because they have a very different soul frequency. It's much more galactic. So that's one of the reasons why we talk about starseeds so much in the spiritual community, is because starseeds are here to bring that very unique galactic vibration and anchor it into the Earth plane. And the purpose of this is to help Earth through the ascension process. That's why starseeds are here. So that is what we are talking about when we talk about a starseed. And the second quick thing that I always like to mention when we talk about the traits and characteristics of a particular starseed race, as we're going to be doing in today's video, is to remind you that we are talking about trends, about things that are very common in particular starseed races. But every starseed is completely unique. So you may be an Orion starseed and not have any of these characteristics, and that is perfectly fine. We are just talking in trends, in generalities. So this is not set in stone. It's just something to help give you a feel for some of the things that pop up over and over again with particular starseed races. So what are some of the common characteristics of Orion starseeds? So one of the first things that pops up for me when people ask about Orion starseeds is that they are masters of everything. So Orion starseeds are known for being very practical, very logical, very adaptable, very flexible. So Orion starseeds are very good at making do with whatever is on hand. And this is something that traces back to the original Orions, that in the Orion star system, they didn't have all of the resources that we take for granted on Earth. Things were pretty hard to come by. So the Orions themselves had to be clever. They had to make do with whatever was on hand to be able to MacGyver anything that they needed. And this kind of practicalness, this resourcefulness is something that you will often see in Orion starseeds. They are just good at making do with whatever's available to them. Now, something else that always jumps out at me about Orion starseeds is their personality. And so many of the Orion starseeds that I know have very strong personalities. They have a very strong solar plexus energy. So Orion starseeds have a very strong sense of who they are. So these are not starseeds who necessarily feel like they have to find themselves, like they are on a lifetime journey of discovery. Orion starseeds are kind of the opposite. They tend to be very clear as to who they are, what they want, and how they're going to go about getting it. So Orion starseeds have this very magnetic confidence. So Orion starseeds are just very strong in personality. So if you have a lot of Orion energy yourself, you may be someone whose friends have told them that they're a lot. That is something that does tend to pop up with Orion starseeds, is that their personality can overshadow other people because they have this wonderful confidence, this just inherent sense of self. And they can be a little impatient with anyone who doesn't also share that. So Orion starseeds tend to have very powerful, very strong personalities, but it's a very magnetic confidence. So they have a confidence that draws people to them. They make great leaders. They make great advocates. They make great negotiators because it's very easy for them to jump in, see what needs to be done, and get it done. So Orion starseeds are generally very, very goal-oriented. So these are not starseeds who are frivolous, who are passing the time doing nothing. Orion starseeds tend to like to be focused on a goal, to be getting something done. So these are not starseeds that like to get bored, and they tend to have a fairly low patience level for people who waste their time. So you may notice that Orion starseeds are great on teams, in companies, in any position where you need leadership, where you need decisive action. This is where Orion starseeds shine. Now, something else that Orion starseeds are great at is they are known as the jack of all trades. So Orion starseeds tend to be very versatile. They tend to be good at everything. So they're that person you really do want on your team when stuff needs to get done, because your Orion starseed is going to be the one who gets it done. They are very driven, very eyes on the goal, and they are very good at avoiding distraction. Now, there's something else that's really unique about Orion starseeds, something that separates them from pretty much any other starseed, and that is they tend to thrive in structured environments. So they tend to do great in corporate environments, in government environments where there's lots of bureaucracy and procedures and red tape. They tend to do great in the military. And all of this is the opposite of what the average starseed thrives in. The average starseed hates structure and rules and bureaucracy. So this is one of those unique points about Orion starseeds, is they do very well in structured environments that make other starseeds a little crazy. And one of the reasons for this is going back to that history of the Orion system. They come from a system that was very oppressed, and there were a lot of rules. And so Orion starseeds often thrive in environments that would suffocate other starseeds. So they tend to be great at following authority, at following rules. At least it doesn't bother them. So they tend to really separate themselves from the typical starseed in terms of how well they handle rules and structures and procedures. It just tends to be comfortable for them. Now, something else that is a strength of most Orion starseeds is that they thrive under pressure. So Orion starseeds might be at their absolute best when everything is going south. So this is when they spring to action, where you get to see that laser focus, that laser determination, and that confidence. So when things are going sideways, you want an Orion starseed on your team. Now, as you can imagine from what we've already covered, Orion starseeds aren't great with anything frivolous. So they're generally not going to be into the gossip, the drama, into talking about celebrities. This is generally going to bore your average Orion starseed to death. So this is not something that they are generally going to be willing to invest their time in. So they tend not to be into anything fluffy, anything frivolous. They want to get the job done. So being very goal-oriented is kind of the shining star of the Orion starseed. And something else that kind of goes along with what we have been talking about is that Orion starseeds generally don't care what anyone else thinks about them. So they are starseeds who are pretty much immune to peer pressure, don't care what any sort of opinions are on what they are doing or saying or thinking. They are fiercely independent and fiercely confident, which makes for an incredibly powerful combination. So as you can probably imagine, they make great leaders. They make great activists. They make great decision makers, negotiators, because they get the job done. And they do it in a way that inspires the confidence and loyalty of everyone around them. Now, they are also known as question askers. So if you know an Orion starseed, they may be that person you know that is always peppering you with questions. So the Orion starseed energy is the energy of prove it. They want to see what backs up what you are saying and suggesting. So they're not going to follow along blindly. They don't go with the flow. They're going to challenge you on everything. And they love to get into the details, to pick things apart, to know every single minute angle of what they are working on. And so they just have a thirst for knowledge. And so finally, some other things that pop up often in the personalities of starseeds with a lot of Orion energy is that they tend to be very detail-oriented, very practical, very logical, and very critical in terms of wanting to know the answers, wanting to know every detail of a situation. So they don't brush over things to focus just on the big picture. They tend to be laser focused. So let's move on now and talk a little bit about Orion starseeds and the body. Because as we talk about all the time in these starseed videos, the body can be kind of a weakness for a lot of starseeds. A lot of starseeds just really struggle with the body. So where do Orion starseeds fall on this spectrum? Because certain starseed races tend to have it a little easier than others. So how do the Orions fare? Well, according to the Pleiadians, the Orions tend to do pretty well in a physical body. So they tend to have very strong physical bodies. They tend to love being active, and they just tend to fit more comfortably in a physical body than many other starseed races. Now, there are a couple unique things about Orion starseeds and the body. The first is that they are known, many of them, for having very striking eyes. And this is something the Orions themselves are sometimes known for, is just having beautiful, unique eyes. And the other thing that can sometimes pop up for Orion starseeds in particular as an issue with the body is related to a tendency of Orion starseeds to sometimes hold in emotions. So this is something that can be an issue for some Orion starseeds, with the result that this can manifest in some starseeds as skin issues that are kind of a manifestation of bottled up emotion. So some Orion starseeds can have issues with the skin. So that's just kind of an interesting quirk of some Orion starseeds. So let's move on now and talk about some of the things that can be a struggle for some Orion starseeds. And one of the things that can be an issue for some Orion starseeds is that their confidence and self-assuredness can sometimes slide over into arrogance, into dominance, into thinking that their opinion is more valuable than others. So this is just something to maybe keep an eye on if you know you have a lot of Orion energy. Now, something else that can be a struggle for Orions is, as we just mentioned, dealing with their emotions, because Orion starseeds tend to be quite logical, very left-brained. So when it comes to dealing with feelings, that is not always the strong suit of Orion starseeds. So this is something that they may tend to view as unimportant, which can cause them trouble sometimes in relationships. So if you are in a relationship with an Orion starseed or have one in your family, or if you are raising one, you may notice that getting them to share their emotions can be a little tricky. So this is something that Orion starseeds sometimes struggle with being too mental, just too much in the head. And you can probably guess the next struggle I am going to mention based on what we have already talked about. And that is that Orion starseeds can be perceived as being a little aggressive, a little domineering, a little bossy. These all come up from time to time with Orion starseeds, as well as sometimes that tendency to think that their opinion is more valuable. So just something to kind of be aware of if you have a lot of Orion energy. But the beautiful thing about Orion starseeds is that they are absolutely unapologetic about it. They know what they know. They do not doubt themselves. They have absolute confidence in what they are recommending. And so they don't really care what anyone thinks about it. And that's kind of beautiful. And then finally, and you are definitely seeing a theme with these, Orion starseeds can sometimes be a bit polarizing because they will, without hesitation, share their opinions loudly and forcefully, that they can be a bit polarizing at times, a bit intimidating to people who are not quite as confident and willing to put themselves out there. And they can also have a tendency to be a bit impatient. So as we have mentioned, just not super tolerant with laziness, stupidity, incompetence, going to tend to make your average Orion starseed a little nuts. But with this goes that beautiful Orion confidence that so few starseeds have naturally. So Orion starseeds are really fascinating, and they just sometimes get a bad rap because people hear Orion energy and think about all the challenges that happened in the Orion system. So people can have a misperception that Orion energy is necessarily dark. And that is not the case. It is a beautiful energy of confidence, of self-identity, of fearlessness. So we have a ton of Orion energy on the planet right now, and learning to recognize it is going to help us all see how incredibly powerful and valuable Orion starseeds are. So I hope that helps you understand Orion starseeds a little better. Let me know in the comments below if you're an Orion starseed. Drop that in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you next time. Bye.